Am I the a-hole for cutting off my mom financially after she bought my sister a car instead of paying rent? I'm 34 years old, living in a small suburban neighborhood outside of Louisville, Kentucky. I grew up here, and despite the small town feel, it's a place that's always felt like home. My mom, Claudia, is 58, and she's always been what I'd call a caretaker, but more in the enabling sense than the nurturing one. And my sister, Lucy, is 27. She's the baby of the family, always had that poor me energy that somehow always got her out of trouble, and she's always been mom's golden child. Let me paint the picture for you. Mom and dad divorced when I was 18, and though it wasn't the worst thing in the world, I'd been the one pushing for it since I was 15. The aftermath has been a series of financial and emotional hurdles for us. Dad, well, he went off to live his best life in Florida, got remarried to a woman who's younger than me, not that I'm jealous or anything, and hasn't looked back. Mom, however, remained back here in Kentucky, bouncing from job to job, barely making ends meet for herself, and dragging us along with her. Fast forward to today, I'm paying rent on a 2-bedroom apartment, barely scraping by. I don't have kids, thank God, and my job at the local advertising agency pays decently, but nothing to make me wealthy. I've been living on my own for a while, but the weight of paying bills, keeping up with everything, and being the responsible one has worn me down. My sister, on the other hand, has lived with mom since she finished college. She never really launched. She's been in and out of low-paying jobs, took a few stints of gap years, and now spends most of her time on social media promoting some sort of vague lifestyle coaching thing. But her big claim to fame is her brand new, shiny, absolutely unearned car that my mom just bought her. It's not a beat-up second-hand model either. No, this is a brand new Subaru Outback. You know, the one with the sunroof and leather seats. My mom put down the full payment for it. Not alone, she just bought it. This car was the final straw for me. Let me explain why. A few months ago, my mom asked if I could help her out with rent. She's always had a bit of an "I'm your mom, I'm entitled to help" attitude. I didn't mind chipping in here and there, but I always felt like I was being taken advantage of. Still, I kept helping her because, well, family, right? But this time, she came to me and said, "I'm a little short on rent this month. Can you cover it for me, just for this month? I'll pay you back next month." I said sure, reluctantly, and I transferred the money right away. Fast forward 2 weeks. I get a call from my mom, and she says, "So, I did something. I bought Lucy a car." And I kid you not, she sounded proud of herself. Like, beaming. I didn't even have a chance to process the information before she continued. "It was a bit of an impulse buy, but she's been needing it, and I figured it was time." I didn't understand. "Wait, you bought her a car? After asking me to cover your rent? Are you kidding me?" She sighed, and there was that familiar tone, the one that said she wasn't listening, but she was definitely about to justify herself. "Lucy's been really struggling, and I just wanted to do something nice for her. You know how hard she's been working. It's not like I have money to burn, but I just wanted to help." I took a breath, trying to keep my cool. "Mom, she's been living with you for years, not paying rent, not contributing anything, and now you're buying her a car? What about me? I'm over here struggling to pay rent for my own place, and you can't even prioritize paying your bills?" There was a pause on the other end of the line. I could almost hear the wheels turning in her head. Then she said, "You're just being dramatic. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like you're out of money, are you? You're doing fine." I don't know if it was the exhaustion of everything that had built up or if it was just the sheer absurdity of the situation, but I snapped. "Are you serious? I've been helping you financially for years. I covered your rent last month. I've been supporting you emotionally through all of your decisions, and this is how you repay me?" My voice was shaking, but I was beyond furious. I'd reached a breaking point. She got defensive. "Don't you talk to me like that. I'm your mother. I've given you everything I could. I didn't ask for this. I'm doing what I can, and you're acting like I'm some villain." And there it was. The same old guilt trip. The same emotional manipulation. I told her, "You know what? I'm done. I'm not helping you anymore. Not financially. Not emotionally. Not after this." And with that, I hung up. I'm not proud of it. I really wish I'd been more composed, but I was done. After that phone call, everything just spiraled. I didn't hear from her for a few days, which was a relief at first. But then, the passive-aggressive texts started rolling in. It was all variations of "I'm disappointed in you and this isn't how a daughter should treat her mother." I didn't respond. I needed space, and I didn't want to get sucked back into the emotional black hole of guilt tripping that she had perfected over the years. But then, Lucy got involved. She called me one night, and I'll admit, I wasn't prepared for what came next. "Hey, I just wanted to check in on you," she said, her voice sounding a little too sweet. "I know things got heated with Mom, but you really need to cut her some slack. She's doing her best." I wanted to scream, but instead, I asked, "Really? Because, from where I'm standing, she's doing anything but her best. She's buying you a brand new car instead of paying her rent. That's her best?" Really? Lucy didn't get it. She started defending Mom, saying, "You know how Mom is, she's always been like this. She's just trying to help me out. You're the one who doesn't get it." I shook my head. I get it just fine. I've been the one keeping everything together for years, and now she's just throwing money at you and ignoring the rest of us. I'm done, Lucy. I'm not part of this anymore. There was a long silence on the phone. I could tell that Lucy was upset, but honestly, I didn't care. I was too angry, too hurt, and too fed up. Eventually, Lucy said, "You're making a huge mistake. Mom won't forget this." "Well, maybe I won't either," I snapped. After that, things went radio silent for a while. I didn't hear from my mom for weeks, but I could feel the weight of it all hanging in the air. The guilt. The anger. The broken family dynamics. It was suffocating. So, here I am, months later, still dealing with the fallout of that decision. I haven't spoken to Mom or Lucy in weeks. They've both sent a few more texts, and I can tell that they're upset and maybe even disappointed in me, but I just can't bring myself to respond. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to. I'm tired of being the responsible one. I'm tired of carrying the weight of everyone else's choices. But I also feel guilty. I feel like I might have overreacted. My mom has always been there for me in her own way, and cutting her off feels like I've severed something that can never be fixed. So, am I the a-hole? Did I go too far by cutting her off financially? Should I have just esked it up and kept helping her out, even though it felt like I was being taken for granted?